Our oceans are alive with the sound of life. For millions of years, marine mammals like whales, dolphins and porpoises have used finely tuned communication systems from river basins in the tropics to the deepest Arctic seas. Sounds are used to forage, navigate, transmit warnings, avoid obstacles, define territories, even sense changes in the water. They're essential to aquatic ecosystems. But over the last 50 years, new types of sound have started to threaten this delicate underwater harmony, turning it into an uncontrolled cacophony. Increased human activity is destroying these routes of communication through noise pollution. Songs, clicks, and other signals are being drowned out by ships' engines, oil and gas exploration, Navy sonar, and marine construction. Artificial noises can cause physical, physiological, and behavioural effects in marine fauna, including mammals, reptiles, fish, and invertebrates. These effects can be diverse depending on the spatial proximity of the organism to the sound source. And it seems that the magnitude of this noise might even be causing hearing loss in marine organisms, thus challenging their life. While regulation is progressing, underwater noise is now officially listed as a source of pollution. To limit its effects on the marine habitat, the offshore industry is slowly starting to adopt mitigating measures. But will noise, like other forms of pollution, affect the entire web of ocean life? Michel André first encountered this problem when he was working on the prevention of fatal collisions between whales and ships near the Canary Islands. In 2002, Michel received a Rolex Award for Enterprise for his whale anti-collision system, which used underwater acoustic antennae to detect nearby animal life and send warnings to ships. Since then, his project has expanded worldwide into a global network of over 100 major underwater acoustic observatories. These are deployed in the oceans from the southern hemisphere to the extreme Arctic Circle, as well as in riverine and coastal areas like the Amazon floated rainforest. This technology is now mature to face the challenge of giving back a balance to nature through the analysis of its sounds. The Sense of Silence Foundation is working to keep building this first truly global picture of ocean noise and its effects by deploying passive acoustic sensors in areas where wild fauna conservation is threatened, helping to preserve marine biodiversity for future generations.
For probably the life of humankind, we've never had access to this sound or the dimension of the sound underneath the surface, because we didn't have the technology for that, because our ear is not made to hear underwater. And so we totally ignored that the ocean is a world of sound. As a matter of fact, a silent ocean is a dead sea, that there will be no life without sound. Sound is the only support of information that all the inhabitants of the ocean share. And so when you have this capability, technological capability, to put this hydrophone underwater and to connect to this dimension, then you never see anymore the ocean the same way. You hear it, and you have this desire and this wish to always be connected to the sound. And for me particularly, I have a very hard time to be on the ocean without having my ear connected underneath, because there is something important that is lacking.
Welcome to Nature Is, where we brainstorm, share innovative ideas, and have conversations to stir our spirits and elevate our actions for a better world.
Well, hello and welcome to Nature Is. We're thrilled today to have two guests, Soraya Hidalgo, for the Head of Strategic Partnerships with the Technical University of Catalonia in Barcelona, and Michel André, the founder of Sense of Silence. Bonjour, hola, welcome. We're so happy to have you both calling in from Barcelona today.
Hi, hello, bonjour.
Hola, Lara.
Hola. Well, let's just start with the basics and explain to us what bioacoustics are so that our audience has that base of knowledge before we jump in.
Yes, bioacoustics, we could say, is the science of the sound of life. This deals with sound production, sound reception, how the sound propagates, travels in different media, and also what alters the information that the sound carries. This is a branch of science that gathers a lot of these disciplines, from mathematics to physics, biology, of course, veterinary science, that all gather to create the way to approach the new science of the sound of life.
Beautiful. It's such a nice way of thinking about nature and the broader natural world. So tell us how monitoring sound is really essential to humanity's survival, and how the Sense of Silence Foundation is giving a voice to nature through this bioacoustic technology.
So bioacoustics is a science, but also you need equipment to that. So we need to recreate what, for us, it seems easy. We use our senses, the 5 senses that we know of. We use them to perceive the world around us. But for bioacoustic, we need to replicate our capacity to listen. And for that, we use artificial ears. We call them microphones when they are placed on earth, on land, and hydrophones when they are placed underwater. And this is the emulation of what our ears are. We use them to collect and to capture sounds. And then we have all the process that we know that we do in our body. We have this channel that carries the sound through our inner ear. And then we have the brain that takes it as a sound and then interprets the meaning of the sound. So we recreate this. We have an artificial ear, the microphone or the hydrophone. And then we have all this processing computer that takes the signal, an electrical signal, into what an artificial brain processes. And we use artificial intelligence techniques to extract the components of all of the sounds and to recreate what has been produced by the source. And with this, we classify, this is the term in science, we identify the different sources and we recompose what is the soundscape. The soundscape is similar to what we understand as the landscape, but produced by sound. This technology is put at the service to understand how nature works and the status of conservation of nature. If you give it a thought, we will probably agree that out of all the senses, again, that we know of, the 5 that we know of, the perception of sound is probably the one that all creatures on Earth share, being plant, animal, terrestrial, or aquatic. And thinking of it, and if we accept this, we understand that bioacoustics is essential to find a way to measure the sound and to monitor it and to understand the status of conservation of nature. And we know that the health of humans, our own health, is not independent from the planetary health. And it's a way for us to take the pulse of natural health and then to understand how we can survive and live on Earth.
Beautiful. No, that's really helpful. And I think also going into some of the initiatives that you're working on are really illustrative as well. So ranging from the noise pollution work that you're doing to polar marine biodiversity, monitoring tropical rainforests, the effects of human activities on whales and acoustic observatories in ape sanctuaries in Africa. It really ranges from so many different ecosystems and geographies. Perhaps you can just tell us a little bit more about those initiatives.
These initiatives are all related in our search of understanding the global balance on this planet, and this deals with different ecosystems. Now we want to have this broad vision on how the planet works, and again, this is through sounds that we can do it, and then we know that what is affecting the rainforest will be affecting the ocean and vice versa, and this is why we needed this global approach, the transversal way to measure sound, to monitor sound, to monitor biodiversity through sounds. And all these projects that you mentioned take us to this understanding, to a better knowledge on how every element on this planet is a piece of the puzzle that makes us understand the importance of monitoring biodiversity through sounds. This is not limited to a distance, not to space. We know sound travels, in particular in water 5 times faster than in air, 1.5 kilometer per second compared to 340 meter in air. We know that it can propagate thousands of kilometers, that some great whales communicate over these large ranges. And the same can also happen with insects and with other animals on land. So this project, the great apes are endangered because of the destruction of their habitat, the poaching in the Amazon, illegal mining, overfishing in the poles. These two particular important areas where ice has been protecting nature over time. We know ice is melting, and soon we will see industrial approaches to extract the last resources that we have on Earth, being oil and gas or minerals. And we need to have basic data to have enough of this data to place whenever the ice is totally melt, have this corridor, ecological corridor, where we can protect biodiversity. So all these different projects, even though they take place in different areas, connected and are the same objective to understand better conservation status of the Earth and being able to survive a little bit more on this planet as human beings.
Excellent. I love how you describe this as one of the pieces of the puzzle as we think about solutions to the biodiversity crisis. And maybe you can also provide some high-level examples of exactly how the technology works.
Yes, I would probably take two of these examples. One in the Amazon. We know in the Amazon from image from plane, drone, satellite, the probable exact number of trees that are cut or burnt, but we have very little idea of life beneath the canopy. This is very difficult to penetrate, and until now, the scientific approach has been to collect some samples and then to extract the results from the sample to large area, which of course is not always true, because we know that the huge place in the Amazon has different ecosystems. With sound, this is something that we can deploy, and what we do, we place our sensor in different areas. These are solar panel powered, and we leave them permanently. They don't need any maintenance. They process the data, as we said, with these artificial brains, AI techniques, and then we transmit the processed data to our servers immediately to the internet. And this is a physical deployment. We need to go to deploy, but once the equipment is deployed and is made in a way that is non-invasive, because you put it on a tree and then you leave, and then you have to come back to retrieve the data. This is sent automatically to our servers. It stays there for years, and it gathers all the information that when you put piece by piece these different areas that are covered, then you have a true idea of the status of health of this habitat. And as an example, we've been placing what we call these nodes, and particularly there is this project that's called the Providence in the Amazon. And these Providence nodes allow us to monitor for the first time the first natural park, which is over 1.5 million hectares, whose biodiversity is being followed, monitored for the last years for the first time in the life of science. So this is one of these examples. If we take it to the ocean, and particularly to this project that we have, Listen to the Poles, again, we take the same setup. Instead of being them put on the tree, we have them on buoys that are left permanently in the area. Again, they process the data 24/7 and send this data to our server and indicate us the presence of key species, but also the whole soundscape, and that shows us the status of health of these habitats. So the same technology applied in these different ecosystems.
Brilliant. And I think this is such a great example of nature technology, which we've, dipped in and out of on this series. And how are you seeing individuals use the data? Because we know that at a broad level, one of the missing pieces in the biodiversity conversation right now as we work on solutions to address the crisis is a lack of data. And it's so much more complex than climate and greenhouse gas emissions. So with this information on monitoring species and perhaps detecting different animals in different ecosystems that we may or may not have known were there, Do you have a sense of what key stakeholders are doing with this information now? How that's affecting their decision making?
Yes, from the origin of this technology, when we started to think of how we can monitor biodiversity through sounds, and this is taking us 30 years back, we said, okay, we need this architecture of analyzing the data, but we need to provide this data to stakeholders because we will get the data for our own studies, and we have, of course, ideas and many species we need to understand better. But the huge amount of data is made available to all the scientific community, but also to government and administrations. And as a matter of fact, this data in ocean, that we probably have the largest database in the world in terms of bioacoustic sounds underwater, helped us to contribute to set what we call at the EU level the Marine Strategy Framework Directive, which is a directive that identifies descriptors of a good environmental status for the oceans. And one of these indicators is sound. And thanks to the data that we gather and the standard methodology that we use to monitor and to measure this sound, we contribute to set standards that now all the state members need to, or the member states, need to use. So this is truly an application that came from this technology, but we can also go to art, and many artists connect to this data and have this creation for the last 20 years. We've been collaborating with many of them, and then society at large can have access to the data to learn. What we lost is to listen to nature. We lost this capacity. We lost the time to take to listen to nature, and listen particularly underwater, but also under the canopy is something very special, something that connects you back to nature. And if we would take a few minutes per day connecting us back to the sound of nature, we'll probably feel a little bit more connected to it, and maybe we'll understand better the message that nature is sending us in terms of the emergency of acting before it's too late.
It's a great reminder, because if we do take a step back and listen, there is a sound somewhere. Sometimes in urban environments, it's harder to hear, but certainly right now I can say that the bird life is becoming very evident to me as the Northern Rockies begin to thaw and spring finds us. So that's a great invitation to all of us to listen more intently for nature. And it's not a surprise hearing about all of this incredible work that you're X Prize finalists. So congratulations. And tell us about this collaboration and how we can follow the progress.
Oh, so we are super excited, Lara, and proud and I would say honored to have started this adventure 3 years ago. X Prize Rainforest competition is allowing our team to advance further and rapidly in how we are going to monitor rainforests in an unprecedented manner. This means through a multidisciplinary approach, and also, let's say, multinational team, because we are from Spain, but also working in collaboration with our colleagues from Brazil in Mamiragua, in the Amazonian rainforest. And yes, we started these adventures, as I was saying, 3 years ago. 53 teams, and we are in the finals. The finals are going to take place in July in the Amazon, and hope to be in the podium. And yes.
We are 16.
Yeah, we are 6 teams at the moment. Yeah, sorry, maybe I said 3. Yeah, it's 6. Yes.
6 teams. Well, rest assured, we will be following this progress and cheering you on. Congratulations. It's an incredible achievement to have gotten that far.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so tell us then more broadly, what else is needed to help Sound of Silence expand its positive impact in the world?
Well, this is an endless effort. We know it. The planet is big. We need to understand it as much as we can. We need to have more of these observatories deployed. We have the capacity to set very complex underwater observatories at the bottom of the ocean. Some are deployed at 3 kilometers below the surface. Some are in very shallow waters. and some of them are fixed, some other are opportunistic and drifting. We design different ways also to be brought on board yachts that we know go to areas where probably not many people can go and can reach, and so we are trying to ask them to help us collecting data, because this is all about it, and you have said it. This is the need of data. This is what science is made of. It's data, so we can analyze it, and the more data we have, the better knowledge we have on the situation. So we are trying, particularly in the ocean, but also, and you have understood it, in other areas, particularly in the Amazon, but also in Africa and in Asia, to collect as much data as we can. And for that, we need help, and is why our foundation has been created and founded, so we can get help from donors to help us deploying these sensors, this technology, to serve the purpose of having a better planet for not specifically or not only for nature. We know that this is very important for us, but for humankind and to our own survival. So to help us is to trust that we are going the right way and to provide as much data as we can.
Excellent.
And also from our side, to go together with the civil society and also the private sector in terms of helping them to live and cohabit better with nature.
Well, thank you for that. And on a related note, as our time draws to a close, we always reflect on influences of nature. So perhaps you can both tell us how it is that nature's influenced your work on bioacoustics.
Well, so I will speak of myself, and I'm sure Soraya has her own way of expressing this. But definitely, when you are, I'm not said born with this idea that nature, of course, is around you. This is what everybody experiences. But you start to listen, and this is again something that we may have lost. But we take and you pay attention to sound, then you cannot live without thinking of all these sounds that are around you, and it is so important for the balance of the planet. And I'm taking just this example. When you sail, and many people and many of us had this opportunity to sail on the ocean, we usually stay at the surface, except when we swim a little bit. But we look at the beauty of the ocean, and very few of us think that below the surface there is a world with dimension that we have no idea how far it goes. And as a matter of fact, for probably the life of humankind, we've never had access to these sounds or the dimension of the sound underneath the surface, because we didn't have the technology for that, because our ear is not made to hear underwater. And so we totally ignored that the ocean is a world of sound. As a matter of fact, a silent ocean is a dead sea, that there will be no life without sound. Sound is the only support of information that all the inhabitants of the ocean share. And so when you have this capability, technological capability, to put this hydrophone underwater and to connect to this dimension, then you never see anymore the ocean the same way. You hear it, and you have this desire and this wish to always be connected to the sound. And for me particularly, I have a very hard time to be on the ocean without having my ear connected underneath, because there is something important that is lacking from the experience. So this is my own perception of your nature through sounds, obviously.
Yes. Yeah, from my side, to share a personal experience as well. It was in the Amazon rainforest, and when you have the chance to be there at the heart of the largest rainforests and ecosystems in the world, the lungs of our planet, and you are there at night. You had the chance to close your eyes and listen this beautiful and perfect orchestra made of all these animals and insects, but also the trees moving with the wind. And then, yes, you feel that we have to work hard to preserve these ecosystems, yes, sound is a vector. It was a vector for me to connect with nature in a very particular and different manner as I did in the past when I was young. So.
Nature's orchestra. I don't know that we could say it any better. And I'm just so grateful that we serendipitously met several months ago, because the work that you're both leading has opened my eyes to a whole nother part of the natural world. And I hope it will be an invitation to others as well to close their eyes and listen and understand that those sounds in the natural world really are a proxy for healthy ecosystems and life, all of which is beneficial to humanity. So thank you both for the wonderful work you're doing in the world. We will follow your XPRIZE progress with great interest, and thank you again.
Thanks to you, Lara, and long life to Nature Is.
Excellent. Merci et muchas gracias.
To send this message out, to listen. Listen, please, listen to nature.
Listen to nature. Good note to end on.